represent what appear to be the most innocent of dreams. But this innocence can be broken as easily as a fragile teenage heart. For the reminders are very clear of just how cruel and judgmental the world is for someone like Christy Phillips. Labeled to be someone she may or may not ever be able to be. At 14, she was a star. But then her body began to change. And at age 16, she is attempting a comeback. The judges have little sympathy if you don't look the part. But not every story is as severe. Some have a happy ending. But everyone involves a special little person, surviving in an atmosphere set by adults. Maybe coaches that can't agree, administrators who are blind to their needs. Today, America's top gymnast, Phoebe Mills, only needs to be as good as she has been this week. While Christy Phillips needs to cap her comeback with the best day of her life. Melissa Marlowe will hear the cheers because we're in Salt Lake City, and this is her home. Their childhood may be lost forever, but they wouldn't have it any other way. Just maybe, they can go where Olga, Nadia, and Mary Lou have been. And today it will be decided who will represent the United States of America at the Summer Olympics as Coca-Cola presents the Olympic trials in the sport of women's gymnastics. Utah. We've been following their careers now for the better part of 4 years, and this is their day as Coca-Cola presents the women's gymnastics U.S. Olympic trials. Good afternoon, I'm Al Troutwig along with Kathy Rigby McCoy, and we'll be following many stories today as only 6 will get the chance to go to Seoul. And it will be difficult really for us to empathize with these young women, won't it be?
Well, I think that only these gymnasts will know the sacrifices that they have made to get here, and only these gymnasts will know the joy or the pain at the end of today's competition.
We'll get the complicated part out of the way first. For the scoring that is to go on here to determine those final 6 is rather complicated. It is a 2-stage affair. The first was the U.S. Nationals in Houston. There were compulsories and optionals there, which count in total towards 40% of the score. And then 60% here at Salt Lake City at the trials. We've already had the compulsories, and today the final 24%, the optionals, which will determine the final 100% of the score. After the compulsories, which were held 2 days ago, Phoebe Mills, who is now the nation's top gymnast, has a very comfortable lead over Kelly Garrison Steeves from the University of Oklahoma, who at the age of 21 is a married woman and may be on the verge of representing the United States Olympic team. Hope Spivey from the Parkettes in Pennsylvania, Brandy Johnson, Shelley Stack, also a Caroli teammate, Melissa Marlowe, and then Do Yamashiro, who came into this trailing Marlowe by just a little bit and representing an effort so close until this morning when she hurt her ankle and had to withdraw from the competition. And that gave the opening to Christy Phillips. Phillips, another gymnast who was 8th after the first rotation, into the second rotation, needing a good effort to move up and take advantage of what Do Yamashiro's withdrawal from the competition had done.
Now, she had a fair performance on the uneven parallel bar. She really needs to make up some points here on the vault. This isn't one of her best events, but she's a real fighter.
And the man who is involved in some controversy we'll be getting into, a man who has the highest profile in gymnastics, Bela Caroli.
And she will attempt a full twisting Yurchenko, round-off vault. You don't get much better than that. As I said, she is a fighter. She should be pleased with that vault.
That's going to be good. More flat, isn't it? Try to go more a little bit. Okay, a little bit was flat. Move harder.
She's very aggressive on the run. Just what she needs. The position on the on the board is perfect. Good position in the air. Look how tight her legs are. And she lands it solidly.
We have 2 routines going on at the same time. You heard the crowd reacting to the dramatic finish of the routine of Melissa Marlowe on the uneven bars. As we've already told you, this is her hometown, and she's been on the front page of the newspaper for 5 or 6 days now, and she's a big favorite. And right now, she's in the 6th and final position to make the team. This was her performance moments ago.
She does have the crowd behind her, which sometimes can be difficult because you feel the added pressure. But she is performing extremely well. She did perform well. Perfect position on that handstand.
Just moments ago, the 87 Pan American Games gold medalist in this event.
These gymnasts are really gripping the bar today, although she's moving so freely, just what the judges were looking for.
And we're waiting for Melissa Marlowe's score to be posted, and I can tell you that Christy Phillips' score on the first vault was a 9.863 as she prepares to now vault again. You get 2 attempts. This was moments ago. You get 2 attempts on the vault in the women's competition.
It's like a 2-ring circus here, watching every event at once. Good position in the air. Little hop there. She won't get quite as good a score.
The cheers again as we look at Christy Phillips are for Marlowe's score of 9.913. She's not ready to give up that 6th and final place. Not yet. Her coach there at Rocky Mountain Gymnastics is Mark Lee. Melissa Marlowe's parents divorced. Her father sitting at one end of the arena, her mother at the other end. And I'm sure if they could look across, they'd be smiling at each other now. Some happiness for the Marlowe family.
ABC's Wide World of Sports is brought to you by your local Coca-Cola bottler and Coca-Cola Classic, the official soft drink of summer. By the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. By Anderson Windows. Come home to quality. Come home to Anderson. And by the Bartles & James Premium Wine Cooler Company.
We're back live in Salt Lake City, Utah, the U.S. Olympic trials in women's gymnastics. Phoebe Mills leading the way. Kelly Garrison Steeves, Hope Spivey, Brandy Johnson, Shelley Stack in the 6th and final position, right now held by Melissa Marlowe. Now, Rhonda Fain, another member of the Karolyi gymnastics team, slid in front of her teammate, Christy Phillips, in the first rotation. She was 7th, and that's a critical spot. You still get a chance to go to Seoul if you're 7th as an alternate.
She's really proven in the past to be a consistent, stable performer. She proved herself at the World Championships in Rotterdam by being the #1 American gymnast.
This was her 2nd rotation vault moments ago.
She is one of the top vaulters in the competition. Here we go for her first vault. Good block off the horse. Great vault. One of the things Bela Karolyi stresses with his athletes is having those stable, secure landings that almost drop in.
I'd like to apologize. We're on some backup audio lines on ABC's Wide World of Sports today. We're working to fix that, of course. Now, a 9.75 for Rhonda Fain will keep her in front of Christy Phillips. We're waiting for her score. Here's what it looks like.
What he was talking to her about is blocking. She blocked her shoulders into the horse, gets tremendous height and distance, and she just drops in that landing.
And there are 10s across the board for Rhonda Fain.
And you can see why. It's really difficult. She's very tall, 5'5", but she really gets that block. She moves that body around so easily.
And she does it again.
Possibly 2 10s here.
She scored a perfect 10 in the vault at the USA Championships, which were the opening stage to the decision to how the 6 would be decided to go to Seoul. That was in Houston.
She looks so comfortable doing this vault. She's not labored at all. Good position in the air. They could take off maybe a half attempt for that. Those leg separations.
Rhonda only needed a 9.75 to stay in front of Christy Phillips with a perfect 10. That is really going to put pressure on Christy Phillips. It makes her mission all the more difficult. Now, you recognize that uniform there, the white with the purple and the blue. That's the uniform of Karolyi's gymnastics. And it may look as though all the gymnasts here are wearing that uniform, and so many of them are. Now, just moments ago, Shelley Stack, another one of Rhonda Fain's teammates, gave a performance that we're going to watch now on the uneven bar. She was in 5th position after the first rotation.
And this routine was so clean, so precise. Her handstands right above the bar. Look how high on that. Reverse tack. No form breaks. She says she doesn't get nervous in competition because she's just a confident gymnast. Obviously here. Perfect position in the air. Watch this dismount. Very nice routine.
That was moments ago. This is now live. Shelley Stack. Little from Birmingham, Alabama. Spending all her time now, though, in Houston. Whatever life she had in Birmingham is history, at least for now, and her score was a 9.925, so the smiles were for real. And that should help keep her standing firm in 5th position.
Bella says that she is a showgirl reminiscent of Mary Lou.
So the pressure continues to mount on Christy Phillips. Phillips needs the day of her life. Hers is an interesting story, there is no doubt about it. Pressures that no teenager should have to face. Frank Gifford takes a closer look at her story.